We are back on Morning Line. It's our final segment this morning with Chad Jackson, Assistant Davidson District Attorney, who prosecuted RaDonda Vaught. A lot of people commenting on this. Some people saying this is damage control for the DA's office. So I think a DA wants to answer questions. That's why we're having them on. Trust me, I'm not here to do damage control for anyone. As I said, we're going to have the Tennessee Nurses Association on, provided they're willing to come on, as well as possibly RaDonda Vaught and her attorney, Peter Stryant. So don't give me any of that crap, okay? That's not what that's all about. We're trying to cover every base here, and a chance for you to ask questions. We've got a lot of them, so let's get back to the phone lines, and we'll go next to, I believe, Rebecca. Rebecca, good morning. Hi, Rebecca.
Hi.
Hey.
So my name is Rebecca Boynton. I am the director of the Richland Park Farmers Market, as well as the East Nashville Farmers Market. And that means that RaDonda and her husband, Ed, are our farmers, and they mean a lot to us. So this prosecution has not only hurt the nursing community, it has also damaged the local Tennessee farming community. And so my question for you, Chad, is that when you have, let's say, thousands and thousands of nurses, who are mostly women, telling you that this could have been them, that this could have been a mistake that they made, that they are RaDonda, how can you possibly tell them that they're wrong?
Okay, thank you for your call. Thank you for your call.
Well, I have talked to lots of nurses, and even during the trial, we talked to several nurses from the stand who agreed that they would have at least checked the medicine. They would have at the very least checked the medicine. And in these cases, you know, nurses have a duty of care, and you cannot engage in gross neglect. And gross neglect is what the trial focused on, not simple negligence, not just one error or mistake, but many of them. And I have yet to find anybody that would go through this laundry list of things that RaDonda Vaught did and say, no, your verdict is unjustified.
Let's go next to Angela. Angela, good morning. Hi, Angela.
Hi.
Hey, what's on your mind?
Hi, I have two questions,
Okay.
if you're able to. First one is, there's a big term in healthcare, just culture. How would you define this for those that aren't aware of this term? And how is this upheld in the RaDonda Vaught case?
Did you said just culture?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
How is it upheld in this case?
All right. Thank you for your call.
Well, my understanding of just culture is in the healthcare community, everybody wants to be forthright about the mistakes because you need to correct them. You need to figure it out. You know, you need to, if a patient is experiencing some sort of traumatic experience, in this case, Charlene Murphy, the doctors need to know what happened. So everybody would come forward and kind of say, I did this, this, this. And in this case, RaDonda Vaught did admit that she gave vecuronium bromide instead of Versed. So that helps the healing process in the medical community so that they can recover from the mistake, possibly save this patient if there has been such an error as this, which it was possible in this case. Had RaDonda Vaught monitored Charlene Murphy, there is a drug that could be given to reverse the effects of vecuronium bromide. Had she only noticed sooner, Charlene Murphy could still be alive before she suffered a anoxic brain injury. And this trial was not necessarily, or wasn't about at all, just culture or an indictment of just culture, but the recklessness leading up to it. We don't want to discourage nurses from admitting to their mistakes that they make, but in this case, it wasn't just one. It wasn't just, I accidentally gave vecuronium bromide. I didn't do so many things, and I gave this patient vecuronium bromide.
All right, let's go next to try to get as many calls as we can in our remaining moments, and we'll go to Amber. Amber, good morning. Hello, Amber. There's water.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
My name is and I'm a registered nurse. I'm actually calling out of New York State. So I want to say thank you for letting me on. I want Chad to realize that the American Nurses Association has spoke out about this case. And what they have said is that they really discourage attorneys from trying nurses criminally because this will end just culture within the medical field. Also, I've been following this case very closely, and the nurse expert, Donna Jones, she is a very sad excuse for a nurse. The fact that woman did not understand what just culture was, and quite frankly, she was absolutely aggressive on the stand. So her behavior in the courtroom was unjust, and I really have a problem that the jury was withheld a lot of information on Vanderbilt's history of cover-ups, on medication errors, on not doing a proper root cause analysis into why this accident, why this medication error occurred. Errors within facilities happen within systems. They don't happen just to one individual. There's usually a sequela of events that cause these instances. And while no one, not one medical professional would ever say that this event should just be dismissed. Someone died. And we have to identify the problems within Vanderbilt's hospital system, and we need to do something to change that process. In addition, vecuronium, that should have never been in a Picnic machine in a radiology department for a nurse to access. Okay, that medication is given in anesthesia, that is given during surgery.
Amber, hang tight on that, and great points. I'll let you comment since we only have about 3 minutes left. So on this, and again, she's giving voice to a lot of folks saying, look, RaDonda Vaught was part of this system, and the way it was set up, Vanderbilt is the one. And that's what Peter Stryance in his opening statement said on her behalf. Look, she's conceded to everything, but come on. This is about the culture of what she was working in there.
Right, and the word she used, usually amounts to, there's a sequence of events and Vanderbilt or hospital is somehow involved. All these 17 events here relate specifically to RaDonda Vaught. The fact that vecuronium was inside that ADC, they have to intubate patients in the neuro ICU all the time. If they're bucking the vent, if they're not relaxed enough and they're trying to fight the ventilator, they've got to do something to help facilitate that breathing process. So they need it there. And in fact, the evidence showed that RaDonda Vaught pulled rocuronium, which is another paralytic, many times. So they use paralytics in this neuro ICU, obviously, because RaDonda Vaught had used it. But, in this case, it was so egregious. I think every other nurse in this country needs to take solace and take comfort in the fact that if you follow the 5 rights and you check the medication and you're not overworked, you're not understaffed at the hospital, you're not on another multiple long day and you're being run into the ground, which was not the case here with RaDonda Vaught, you're going to be fine unless you commit gross neglect. And that applies for every person with a professional license. You cannot be grossly neglectful in your duties, especially in your duty of care to a patient.
And so again, just to reemphasize, if the many watching, and so many, especially nurses, very upset about this, that's the message they should take from this, so they should not be worried that this sets the dangerous precedent for them, looking over their shoulder, worried about every time maybe a mistake is made, and they do happen, we're all human, that they're going to be prosecuted.
They will be, if you commit a mistake. Well, I'll say this. They don't need to be worried about, unless they're going to do 17 things wrong in the everyday administration of medication, like RaDonda Vaught did. This is not a national standard. Shirley Pickering said from the health department this was the first medication-related or patient death-related medication error that she'd seen in 15 years. And she'd been investigating for the Department of Health, Board of Nursing for 15 years, and this was the first one she had seen in Tennessee.
I appreciate you coming on, Chad. We'll follow how this goes along. Thank you for coming on to answer some of the questions and the like. And I know we probably could have gone on a lot more calls. I apologize we couldn't get to you all. But this is not the end of it for us. We're going to be doing more as the week goes on, provided that the guests we invite are willing to come. And we're going to cover this from all sides. We'll take a break. I'll be back to wrap things up right after this.